Hi, I'm Paul and this is Lucy, and today we're going to talk about D110 double cabs. And if you look at the two of them, they're vastly different, but the fact is they're really not. But today we're going to talk about the Bahama Gold. We're going to go through this one, and I say Bahama Gold, but it's not quite Bahama Gold. It is a custom paint color. You've seen us do this color a few times now. We did another D110 double cab. Actually, we've done two D110 double cabs very similar to this color, and then a D130 that is very similar to this color. This one is our latest one. We just completed it, and what can I tell you about it other than it's stunning? It does have our newest engine design, which is the Mark 3.5, and to clarify that, it's not a 3.5 liter. It's our 3.5 generations, meaning that we've been developing, and this is the motor that we have in there that is it's blistering fast. Let's just put it that way. It's got a great sound. It's a turbo diesel, but it does not require DEF, which is diesel exhaust fluid. So it doesn't have all of that modern stuff on it for emission per se, but it is a vehicle that's 25 years old, so it is grandfathered in that it does not need all of the emissions, which means it simply just doesn't rob the power. This one can definitely go down the highway at 85 miles an hour. It's an enjoyable ride, but I will tell you, it has the aerodynamics of a cinder block. So you will definitely hear the wind noise, even though that our glass is thicker, because as you know, if you've watched my videos, that Helderburg, we do custom glass that's thicker than normal. It's not glass, it's off the shelf. It does have the Puma bonnet, which Puma bonnet means it's raised up in the center right here. It's got the hump, versus the vintage bonnet has a lower recess. It just doesn't look as modern, doesn't look as rugged. It does have our Made in Germany grille, but I did add a touch to it. I put the Land Rover badge here, which just kind of gives it that little vintage feel. And then, of course, the bumper. We've changed the bumpers up just a little bit. You'd have to get a little close to see, but we went to a thicker metal is what we did. It is all aluminum, but again, this is a custom-made bumper. We didn't do the tip up as high as we do on the other ones because we're saying, maybe we bring that down a little bit. So what I mean is the cut right here and the tip up is not as high. It does have our statement headlights with the broken beam here, and it does have a full width intercooler plus a custom injection pump, which really helps the power delivery. Has a tremendous amount of low range torque and mid range torque. It's a quiet engine, but I will tell you, it's absolutely a billy goat. Put it into fifth gear, which is like an overdrive, and it moves down the highway really well. Let's talk about the stance, though. That's definitely what we're known for. Well, at least I think that's what it is. I hear a lot of prospective clients that see a Helderburg for the first time and our existing clients, and they always talk about the stance. And the thing is, the way we're getting the stance is the custom wheels. There is no wheel spacers. I'm asked that, do we do wheel spacers? And the answer is no, we do not do wheel spacers because simply they're just not safe. It's by the wheel. So what's happening, and the wheel has a proper offset to get it further out, get it away from the radius arms, and then to make room for the bigger brakes and the bigger disc on here too. The wheel itself is 12.5 inches wide. This is a 35-inch tire, which gives it the nice stance. It has been lifted about 2.5, 2 3/4 inches. And whenever you lift it, you have to do it properly, which means it has custom prop shafts, it has custom radius arms. So when you lift it, what's happening is the axles are turning, so it starts to wear the parts, and it also will start to make noise, and it's just not the proper way to do it. So we simply don't do a teenage boy lift. We do it properly with all of the proper components, which even includes a heavy-duty transmission. So when I say heavy-duty transmission, you might think, oh, does that mean a heavy-duty clutch? And the answer is yes. It is a heavy-duty clutch, but it's not the type of clutch that's hard to depress. In fact, you can depress this clutch with 2 fingers. That's how easy it is. So this is not going to drive like a truck where if you're doing stop and go traffic that your leg, you're getting the workout on your quad and it's starting to shake and all that. That doesn't happen. And you can definitely do the stop and go traffic in this because the clutch is so easy and there's so much torque that you don't have to shift gears a lot. You can put it in the first gear and slow way down and then accelerate and rev it up pretty high and just do that as you're going through stop and go traffic. But hopefully you're not in stop and go traffic. Hopefully you're out in the wilderness like I am, I mean my backyard basically, and able to enjoy it. So let's talk about the arches. You'll notice the arches are wider than the ones on the double cab over here. So this goes really wide. This is called a Spectre arch. Spectre meaning the James Bond movie. This is what made this body style very popular, very desirable, but this body style is very rare. It's this double cab edition, and I'm going to get back to it. You're probably going, is it a double cab? What is it? But I'm going to talk more about that. But these arches were made very, very popular. And I like the arches, but I think I like these arches maybe a little better, and it's for the simple reason because it doesn't have the cutouts in that where it's cut out for the bolts to go in to hold the arch on. We did the black trim here though, just to, you know, where things aren't rubbing basically. So I had to hesitate because I had another thought, but I want to explain these arches and what's happening. So these arches on both of them, they're designed just like a fender on a dirt bike. So if you ride dirt bikes, you know exactly what I mean. The fenders are a plastic or a fiber, and they're designed to break away easily so they don't get caught up in the tire. Same thing here. These are designed to break away easily so you don't cause damage to the body and so you don't get it caught up in the tire. So that's why these arches are. But I mean, with the arches too, Lucy's in the background playing, guys, so I'm kind of like watching her because it's pretty comical. But anyway, these arches definitely come out past the tires, so it eliminates the, well, I won't say eliminate, minimizes the mud coming up the side of the truck. Because on my 130 Dragon, I don't have arches in the rear, and the arches on the front are just like that. So I do pick up a lot of the mud and everything, but it's just part of it. I enjoy washing it. So moving back, you will see the CNC milled billet hinges. She's going nuts and she's playing with Leo right now. So billet hinges here, and then billet brackets up here too. It does have the full point roll cage. And for clarification, if I said this many a times, this is the wing right here is cut out and the pipe goes all the way down and is tack welded and bolted to the frame. So this is a functional roll cage. Moving back, the other thing that we do is this is a new style doors. If you've been around Land Rovers for a while, you know they get the galvanic corrosion that generally is right around this area and around the bottom. And that's because the doors originally were a steel frame with aluminum that was put over the top of it. And whenever aluminum and steel touch, it causes a galvanic corrosion. Hence why you see all the bubbling from the inside out. Doesn't happen here. Modern Puma doors. And with these doors, the way it's designed and then the epoxy coating we put inside the doors, it eliminates that so you don't get any of that galvanic corrosion, any of the bubbling. This is heirloom quality. You can pass this down to your children. It's a lifetime vehicle, and that's just the way we build it. It is a complete, I mean an entire body off frame restoration, but a lot of the parts are new. When I say a lot of the parts, what I mean by is the wings are new, the doors are new, the glass is new. So let me clarify that again. Chassis is original, engine block is original. That's it. Everything else is new. So every nut, every wire, every bolt, every screw, every washer is new. The engine is completely rebuilt from the crank up. So the engine is a completely new engine too, as is the transmission, the transfer case, the front and rear differentials, the braking system, just everything. It's just new. Just trust me on that. So the interior is what I'm really excited to show you, because I've never done an interior like this, and I spent quite some time drawing the pictures and designing how I wanted the interior to do. And sure enough, our upholsterers knocked it out of the park. But I'm going to get to the interior here in just a minute. We're going to go to that. Let me walk back a little farther and show you some of the things. The glass is Helderburg. Again, it's thicker, and the reason for the thicker glass is to cut down on the sound, but also to keep it warm in the cabin or cool in the cabin, depending on what you're trying to do. The roll cage back here, actually covers the truck bed. And again, this is a 110 double cab. A 110 double cab is one part of the body. It's like a unibody. Versus a 130 pickup truck, the bed is separate. So this bed is around 42 inches. On a 130 pickup truck, you have right at a 6-foot bed. So there's a difference on the way the body looks. And a lot of people confuse the two. But the client that is going to own this eventually, I really think this client is going to have a lot of children. Therefore, I've done this one other time. I did this for Heather in Nashville, and I put a soft top over the back. So these windows do roll up. This soft top comes off completely and will expose the truck bed. But I did put center-facing benches back here, just like you would expect to see in a 110 wagon. Lucy, come here. She's driving me. She's just going nuts. All right, sit. So anyway, being this is a 110 double cab, it does have the center-facing benches. It does have seat belts. And you're allowed, I mean, not allowed, but you can basically carry your friends, your children, whatever. It does have a sliding rear window, so they can hang out here and just feel very cool with the windows rolled up, and then you guys can have a conversation. So the color, the stance, I really don't think I could have done it any better. I mean, what do you guys think? I love the way it looks. It's even got the LED lights on top, so it's got that whole vibe, that whole feel. But again, I threatened you about the interior, so I think that's where we need to move now. There's something special inside. I should just really pause here and let you take the interior in, but I want to point something out, that currently you do not see the copper Helderburg badge. I'm getting that engraved with the name, as I'm still trying to decide the name. So the question for you is, what should I name it? My first thought was beryllium. Beryllium just kind of has a cool sound to it, but let me tell you why I think it has a cool sound to it. And I'm going to get into the interior design, but first thing I want to talk about is the audio. The audio system in this is unbelievable. This is a high-fidelity audio system. It took my audio guys, 3 of them, 5 days. I think it was about 5 days. It might have been 6 days to complete this audio system. So I'm going to run you through it. I'm going to show you some things, but I'm going to talk about it. The first thing I want to talk about is the tweeters here in the dash. These are the Focal, which are made in France. And this is the Focal Utopia, and they are beryllium tweeters. So if you know anything about audio, or a little bit about audio, you know Focal is probably the best of the best, if not the best, when it comes to car audio. So beryllium, Utopia tweeters. These tweeters, just these 2 tweeters, are about, well, I won't even tell you what the price is. You just Google it and you'll see what the tweeters cost. But this is an entire Utopia system from Focal. This is the Alpine head unit, but there's so many magical things that's going on here. But again, I said the tweeters how many times now? 3 times, guys? Well, not just one set of tweeters, but there's another set of the Focal Utopia beryllium tweeters in the rear. But we're going to get into that. So with this audio system, what's going on is it's tuned specifically. So when my audio guys do it, they say, all right, Paul, what type of music does the client like? And I ask the client, you know, if you're a client, I would say, what kind of music do you like? You give me a list of the music you like. For example, you could say, oh, I like Pavarotti, and I like jazz, Miles Davis, and I like Neil Diamond. Okay, we'll just put that out there. Don't judge me on that. I like Neil Diamond. And then what we do is we use Tidal, which is an app, and we get the high quality files, and they sit in each seat with the computer and with a microphone, and they tune the system. Every speaker, the amplifiers, everything is tuned. It's through the amplifiers, and I really don't know enough other than it sounds awesome. So they tune everything, and then you have this little jogger knob right here next to the driver. And if you're listening to Pavarotti, then you have the 1 setting. So everything is tuned specifically for Pavarotti and his voice, and gives you that theater experience. And then when you go to Neil Diamond, you turn the jogger again, and now everything's tuned for Neil Diamond. Then when you go to jazz, you turn it again. So you have these various settings based on your musical taste, which why wouldn't you expect anything less from a Helderburg? So we're going to get into the back. I'm going to talk more about that, but the cabling, every bit of cabling, there is no butt connectors, everything. What I mean by butt connector, a lot of places when they go to do a wiring job, they'll put a wire into this little connector and another wire, and then they crimp it. That's not how this is done. All of this wire is high gauge, high fidelity wire, and it's all soldered. So they have soldering guns and they're soldering all of the connections. And when they do that, you're sure to get a really good quality connection. And I will tell you that the speaker cabling that's running through this vehicle is a lot. The speaker cabling, when they are pulling it out, when they're pulling it off the reels, it was long enough to reach from one end of the garage to the other end of the garage, which is over 100 feet. That's how much cabling's running through here. So all the cabling's running through the vehicle, and this is a short distance, but when we get in the back, you'll see what I mean. And everything's turned and everything twisted, everything's put into a loom, everything's just neatly done. And again, it's all soldered together, so it's a perfect connection. But the cabling is just unreal. And it does make a difference because it's moving the sound through the system, and you're sure to get a great quality sound. So Alpine unit here, this is the 11-inch, and it probably looks a little big from the side, but it fits perfectly. And then the Helderburg copper badge. And then you have your jogger dial for the music, your tweeters up here. And then you move down, we have focals in the doors here. We're working on this. We're going to change this out a little bit. And then we have focals right here in the seat box. All Utopia. This is the best of the best. I mean, for example, just one of the speakers in the rear is $3,000. Okay, and there's more than one. Now let's move to the rear, and let me show you that. I've got the seat pulled up so you can see what's going on here. So this is basically where everything comes together. And the first thing you'll notice is the amplifiers here. So the amplifiers are made in Italy, and these are Mosconi amplifiers. So Focal is the best of the best when it comes to the speakers, and Mosconi is the best when it comes to amplified power. So again, where I talked about all the cabling, you can see the power cables alone that's driving into these amplifiers, and there's not one amplifier, but there's two amplifiers. These are multi-channel amps. There's the one amplifier that's purely driving the subwoofer here. So the subwoofer, a Focal Utopia, and then where I mentioned the beryllium tweeters, the Utopia ones, they're here in the back again, and then of course the Utopia mid-range right here. So audio in here is just unbelievable. But the setting, just to give you an idea, when I'm talking about how it can be so customized, if you remove the cover, this is where my audio guys are sitting here and they're tuning things and all the inputs, and they hook a computer up to this and everything's being piped in, and they do it on each amplifier to make sure it's the best sound quality ever. In fact, I will tell you, I've had a lot of luxury cars, and I might have one or two right now, and the system in here is, I'm going to use the word bespoke, which is just so custom, and it sounds so beautiful. And I've been known often that I will come out to the garage and I will just sit in a Helderburg and I will just play music and listen to the music, because the sound inside the cabin with all the sound deadening and everything we do is just magical. And I definitely didn't skimp on my high fidelity audio system inside the house, which I am definitely a guy that loves tube amplifiers and solid state, mixing the two. But the sound of this in a vehicle with all that sound deadening is just magical. Wish I could let you guys hear it, but I talk to friends that are audiophiles too, and we laugh about it, that we go to YouTube and we'll listen to somebody playing a high fidelity audio system and they're recording it on their iPhone, and then we're saying, hey, what'd you think about that system? It makes completely no sense, and either you get it or you don't. But anyway, so audio, great stance, beautiful dark brown interior, custom seats, custom everything, even saddlebags on the back of the seats. And the seats, of course, do match the back. But on these seats, as I will tell you, you don't see any diamond stitch. I changed it up a little bit. And then in the back, I did the bench seat, because I just figured I wanted to do something a little different. So then the dogs have a place to actually hang out and lay easily. And this is going to make a fine Helderburg for someone. The question is, what state will it end up in? Well, soon to be told. So the interior, and I'm going to tell you the interior, and I say this often, and just coming back from Atlanta and Nashville, and I had so many people that watched the videos, which I'm so appreciative. Thank you. But they said, you know what, Paul, you are right. The paint just can't be seen. The quality, the attention to detail on the paint can simply not be seen in pictures and videos. And they said the same thing about the interior. And I will tell you, it's going to be hard for you to understand the beauty of this interior just watching a video and seeing the pictures. But the smell, that's the first thing. The smell of this leather is so thick, but it's supple, and it will take a lot of abuse from your dogs, your kids, you, whatever it is. But I did something completely different that I've never done before. Normally, you'll see a Helderburg with diamond stitch interior or a basket weave pattern, square pattern, or an oblong or something like that, or flutes. This one is a mix between perforated and flutes. In Alcantara. So I don't think I'm going to do this interior again because it took weeks to be able to do. And with it taking so long, with so many hours, the interior is, you can imagine, whenever there's hours, there's cost. So again, it took weeks, not only weeks for me to draw it out, design it, but for my upholsterers to actually put it together. But the result is absolutely stunning, beautiful. Chocolate brown, a little different color of a chocolate brown. This is more like a milk chocolate. I did this type of a color. I did this on Velabon. So Velabon 110, look on the website and you'll see the dark chocolate brown. So this is the dark chocolate, not the milk chocolate. So this is a dark chocolate brown. And then I did a different style seat. Normally the seat that I do has a separate headrest. This is much more of a bucket. It's very reminiscent of a Porsche back from the 80s, and it just goes beautiful in a classic Land Rover Defender. But again, flutes, different designs, that running it around, different patterns, the perforation, it just came out beautifully. And what I didn't do on this one, because this is a different leather I was trying out, I didn't put the Helderburg logo on the headrest for the simple fact that I forgot, because I got so excited in the design of doing these flutes and these patterns and everything else that I simply forgot. But we're going to probably add that in. But it does have the Alcantara. It goes beautiful with the center console, which I didn't do the locking one because I wanted to be able to see the perforation and see all the details of the brown. So I wanted to keep it very simple. The seats are heated, and console, even the inside, I covered all that in leather and Alcantara too. Moving to the door cards, I kept the door cards very simple, very clean, and then I wrapped the door handle with leather too. So it brought everything together. It's simple, but it has kind of a equestrian feel to it, in my opinion. But this dark chocolate brown with this Bahama Gold, which, by the way, if you've never seen Bahama Gold, because I know in the videos and the pictures, it looks almost like a school bus yellow, and it's simply not. When people see this color at the shows, they're, oh my gosh, I had no idea. This is a beautiful color. I do love this color, but I think we've kind of run to the end of doing this color because we've done it so many times. I would like to do a D110 5-door wagon in this color and then call it done, and a D90 too, because I do love this color. But the point I'm trying to make is this Bahama Gold has a brown undertone. If you kind of think about like Grey Poupon mustard, it's kind of what I'm talking about in a way, with that brown undertone to it. So it complements the interior in a beautiful way. Alcantara up here, but I did the sun visors in leather too, in the dark chocolate leather. It does have hands-free calling. It does have a backup camera. The hands-free is built into the headliner over there. But what else can I say other than take a look, enjoy it? I love this one. And I'm going to be really sad to see it go. But here's the thing. What do you think the name should be? Did you like my idea of beryllium off of the tweeters? Google that name, see what you think. In fact, just Google the Utopia Focal beryllium or Focal Utopia. since this is an audio system, a new audio system that we're providing to clients, but this is the best of the best, that there is no better. There's nothing else we can do to this system yet. I do have ideas. I'm thinking maybe a Stargazer headliner will be next. And if you know what that is, comment. Tell me what you think, Stargazer or no. Thanks, guys. And be sure and like, subscribe, and share this video.